This is problem 6C on the sample test problems for test number 1. A hospital needs to make 10 liters of a disinfectant solution that is 55% ethanol by combining a disinfectant that is 40% ethanol with another disinfectant that is 80% ethanol. How much of each type of disinfectant should be mixed to get the required solution? We're going to make a table here. And just like in class, the table is going to have 3 rows and 3 columns. Take your time as you try to figure out what the labels should be for the rows and columns. So I've got some 40% solution and some 80% solution, and we're going to put them together and make some 55% solution. So the bottom row is our mixture row. Now, to say that something is, say, 80% ethanol means that 80% of the liquid is ethanol and 20% is something else, water, something we don't care about. So we're going to have a column for the amount of liquid and another column for the percent ethanol. And then finally, the last column can be the amount of ethanol. So the amount of liquid is not the same as the amount of ethanol. You've got a certain amount of liquid, and then only part of it, a certain percentage of it, is ethanol. Okay, let's fill in the stuff that we know. The percent column is pretty easy. Make sure you write these percentages as decimals. So 0.4, 0.8, and 0.55. We're trying to make 10 liters total, so where does that 10 liters go? Well, it's an amount of liquid, not an amount of ethanol. It's an amount of liquid, so it's in the first column, and it's supposed to be the 55%, the mixture. So that 10 goes down there. And I think that's about all from the words in the problem. So let's see if we can introduce a variable. I don't know how much 40% we're supposed to use, but it feels like we can call that x. So that's going to be a number of liters of the 40% solution. And again, I guess you could introduce a y here, but I don't think that's the best idea. I would rather not introduce any new letters. So I know that if I've got x liters is already the 40%, and I have 10 liters total, then how many liters are left over for the 80%? And it's 10 minus x. And then as usual with these kinds of problems, to get the last column, you multiply the first 2 columns. Take the amount of liquid, multiply by the percent ethanol. That tells you how much ethanol you actually have. So we've got a 0.4 times x, 0.8 times 10 minus x, and then finally a 0.55 times 10. And to get our equation, it's also typical to add up things in the right-hand column. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the amount of ethanol you got from the first row, which is 0.4x. You're going to add it to the amount of ethanol you got from the second row. And we know that that's supposed to equal the amount of ethanol in the mixture in the last row. So there's our equation. Getting to that point is worth more than half of the points in this problem. Okay, so now we will solve the equation. So we'll go ahead and distribute the 0.8. And then 0.55 times 10 is 5.5. We'll combine the x's over here, negative 0.4x plus 8. Subtract 8 from both sides. And then finally divide by negative 0.4. And I'm not going to type in the negatives because they cancel, so we just have 2.5 over 4. Divided by 0.4. So we get 6.25. So that's the amount of, that's the number of liters of the 40% solution. And remember, we were trying to make 5 liters total. Nope, we were trying to make 10 liters total. So 10 minus x is the other thing we need to calculate. So 10 minus x is 10 minus 6.25, or 3.75. And that's how many liters of 80% solution.